Michelle, Larry, here, Malcolm, here, Wood, here, Warwick, here, Miller, here, Keith. And stitch for there.
Father, we give thanks for being here tonight. We ask you guide us in the conducting the business of the village of Roscommon. Amen.
Okay, next is the 1.25 approval action. Can I get a approval to excuse Kurt? He thought his last meeting would not be here for the meeting.
I'll make
All in favor?
Motion passed. Hey, if I might say a word, Kirk was served as like a guard or a watchman at the October Fest. He was there a lot. He spent a lot of time there. We just wanted to point that out. Good thing there. Yeah. Shut up. You didn't say that. It's not to extent your printers.
Okay, next item will be approval of consent agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda and with those contained in the sum of $33,873.66.
I got a first, I guess second now. Yes, first and second, any discussion?
Well, I noticed in the, in regards to the rural readiness grant, it notes that it was at no cost to apply and no matching funds, but I believe it was actually 20% match. I was listening correctly, and there you can.
In kind of volunteer hours. Yeah, kind of volunteer hours from myself, Emily, Barbara, and Tracy.
Okay, yeah, thank you for clarifying. That's all.
Any more discussion? If not, roll call please.
Woody? Yes. Michael? Yes. Woodward? Yes. Miller?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Goodwin? Yes.
Next on the approval of regular agenda. May I get one on that, please?
We approve the regular meeting agenda as. 1 second there.
And first, second, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Motion passed. Next will be Mel's report. Mr. Oliver.
Thanks, Mike. I want to welcome everyone here tonight. I want to start off with a thank you that we received from the Roscommon County Literacy Council. To the Roscommon Council, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support of the Master community partners like you make this all possible. Liquor agents, Robin, morning, literacy council, things that are very nice. Just a couple quick updates. The pavilion, I have an agreement. We remember this tech center in the third county is making the braces, the brackets, and we have the Lions Den that's going to be painting those and installing for. So talked to the gentleman last week. He says, yeah, about 60 to make. He said they'll probably bring you maybe 12 a week, and in this past month we get those up, so it should be up hopefully within the next month. I want that, as you know, the only thing we're waiting on is to work out that dispute with a gazebo. I sent a letter on 9/23 to the American Parks. They said they're gonna take it to the upper management. I sent another message out today that hey, I haven't heard anything, and then the guy called me and talking. Maybe I'll get back to you today. I just checked yet, so I'm hoping to hear something soon. And then the Spruce Lodge, we have seen some activity working through there. The guy is on a timer now, basically. You know, he has exceeded a lot of time that we have given him. However, the certified letters that I sent to the owner as well as the contractor both came back with 3 attempts to get them to pick it up, and they refused. So that's not unusual, but when I'm talking with them, I was reaching through the contractor. The owner has changed her cell phone, so she's tough to back down. And trying to go through a friend that knows someone that knows her kind of thing, and so that, yeah, the question what I want, I'm sure this is a headache for her, and I'm trying to reach some type of compromise so we can move ahead with that property, but if you're wondering, the demolition permit it expires on the 16th of December, which is to the date 1 year from the fire. So anyway, we'll wait to see how that goes.
When did they get that? The demolition permit, when did they?
16 months after the 16th of December on the 2024. I couldn't find the right. It was a June.
What was this summer sometime?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm got. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So they got the demolition permit? That's nothing. Correct. Okay.
Yep. Frustrating. Oktoberfest, I'm not gonna say too much about that. Amanda and Jim might be talking a little more about it, but it was a huge success. I just want to thank all the volunteers and people that helped put this together. Talk about community support. I mean, it's just amazing for this event. It just gets bigger, and better every year. So, but it's 100% to do with all the volunteers and sponsors. So, thank you for your time and generosity. The infrastructure that we voted on to have done in North Park, and we have done a wonderful job in and the grass is all taken off there nice, really like that. So Chevy consultant have them that's all booked up, and so we're all set to go there. So
That was the water line that was done?
water and sewer, yeah.
Water and sewer, okay.
So that's done for a whole 500 feet. And so all the 6 spots there, will be more deserved, I guess. Another season is winding down as far as our village flowers, kind of bittersweet, but today the North Central Area Credit Union, that staff member does a community program every year, and for the last few years they've been helping us clean out the beds to take the flowers out. So all of the beds have been cleaned up today, for the flowers taken out. The watering team has done a wonderful job, with water. But I try to keep the clean basket a little bit longer from the weather, but it's probably a week away or a couple of nights away from being done. But I like to thank Liz Overhide, Chris Young, Tommy Candy, Taylor, Mary Jane Pratt, Mike Miller, Ryan Bale, Jim Trail, Paul McGee, and Tim Ryan for getting up in the mornings and watering the plants. There's certain mornings you don't mind getting up and doing it. Some of these cold mornings, you wish it was someone else's turn, but great job. The decorative street lights, we had 3 locations that we had broken lines. Lines. 2 of them, the DDA approved to pay for the 2 of them are being bored. Started today, and they're trying to finish up this week. The whole electrical lines taking care of the 3rd one. We're working on first sign yet. See, if that would be taken care of. That will be the last either 4 or 5 lights out in the main stretch. So hopefully we can get that end of the month. Dan, this is more for you, but this Thursday, we talk more than 5 families. I already represent the council. You're doing a good job with that. That will be at 9:00 p.m. right here.
How long do you think that's gonna last? Hour. Good, because I got an appointment at the VA at 10:11.
Whatever it is, I'll put you first. And then if it's run longer, you gotta walk off for it. Yeah. That's fine. Also, I want to remind the rest of the council here, the work session is scheduled for the 27th of this month, 6 o'clock right here. we'll go through the 2026 budget. And, so that would be, that also to take roughly an hour. Every Halloween, and help me out, this has been like 4 or 5 years, or maybe longer than that, we've been giving out candy here. And so anyone that wants to donate to the cause, greatly appreciated. We have a couple of village people that would like to come in here, maybe get a lot of people at their house, they'll sit here and get Halloween candy, and it's on a Friday this year, so.
You want money donation or candy donation, or doesn't matter? Okay,
Whoever's,
perfect.
we expect a little larger crowd this year being Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a while, I'm changing, do something. No, not gonna get any more. Okay. Okay. I know. That I want to say something. Remind me.
When we also, who makes candy too? You could use brand,
That's fun. I mean, stacking up around office, we don't see that if it's up there and 400, it's a 5, so I don't know how crazy it is.
And we get it out over Halloween during that for the board pictures.
6, I think, parents, and they give them time to go up neighborhoods that and stuff like that.
Cow. This is.
It gets them off the tree before it gets dark.
Yeah.
And the bear still down there too. They're trying to keep
No, I have not. No, I haven't done that.
Which is,
Trunk or treat at family church. I don't know if they're doing. Yeah.
I think they're home.
That's okay.
So any questions for Ron?
we have an update on last month, we had talked about, the. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. But you talking about one, the financial responsibility for really often, people that they,
Right now, they're saying that it's gonna be between $4,000. When I talked to the attorney as far as, their interpretation of that, we fall back to the precinct or the village.
basically.
And you can write that around on anything. If not, move on to public announcement, agenda items, 2 minutes per speaker. Anybody? Okay. Next item, the unfinished business, DPW report. Look,
Mr. Good evening, everyone. There's a few things to go over. We, began realization of the fire hydrants last week. Worked on it again today. We've got about 10 of them left, mostly over in the industrial park area, their area. And then we'll have those all finished up, and then I will be sending an email out to all the fire departments in the area. Maybe them if they are winterized, and please notify us if they can't be using them, so we don't have any freeze up. The pickup that we ordered back in April, the council approved, was finally built in September. This month. So we have that now, it's been lettered up, BPW logo. First, we're waiting for the municipal plate to arrive yet. A few like panic racks and the different stove light and stuff from out. You will be seeing the new truck out and about around June. Run street asphalt repairs, from some of the water projects, sewer projects we worked on. There was 2 spots on Shelley, one by the transmission shop, one more towards the flower shop, and then one on Esther Court. Those have been all completed last week, and then there was also some cold patching of some of the potholes around town. Fall leaf pickup, we should be starting that, if not this week, beginning of next week, as we finish up all the rest of our winterization projects. Driving around, there's not a lot of leaf mills around yet, but maybe each week or so we'll be starting to be a little bit more. So, as Ron stated, we have The repairs have started on the non-working street lights. On Friday, the one at, Sixth Street was bored, underground board, and, I think the red mirrors in that today. So we'll know tomorrow morning if we've got power there now and eventually it's working. And the boring was done on, Lake and Shelley. We're gonna run the wires on that yet, and there should be one more that we're trying to figure out the best option, what that's gonna be to do that. And then again, as Ron stated, the water and the sewer project on Ballard Street has been completed. We installed 2 fire hydrants along that while we were doing it, so that we have, more fire suppression available for future businesses that come on. Anybody ever wants to know how good our, topsoil is from our compost site, go down and look at that grass down there. I think that's some of the greenest grass in the village.
I put some in my garden this year and I've got, zucchini, the big one.
Pretty much sums up what our month's been this month, so any questions?
The street lights, when they're all white, the ones downtown are sort of a cream color. Is there a bulb in there or what?
No, well, not me. The roots, all the way down Fifth Street this way, and 1 block this way. And then all the way down to the post office, except for 1 light, and then 1 block this way. If you remember last year, we bought LED color changing bulbs.
Yes.
And those can be set up to change for different colors. And Fran and Tammy and Jim, and a lot of people go around and will change those colors on those bulbs depending on what the occasion is. Right now, I believe they're set for blue and gold.
Right.
Good luck.
Really nice.
Yeah, I just noticed that when they're all white, that the ones that are cream color, but the ones along the railroad tracks are like,
Those are,
they
those are still the standard
yeah,
bulbs that were in there.
so that's the way it's done. Okay, no problem, I just didn't want that.
We can always change them all over to that, but we wanted more of the original thought was more of the business district.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
For parades and,
You know, yeah, they got a lot of good comments on that color.
Any more questions for Doug? If not, we'll move on to the. That's it.
thank you.
Thank you. Economic Director report, there you go.
Evening, everybody. My little, work is all over the place, so excuse me, kept thinking of things to add in and pop in, and then they seem out of order, but, I'd like to start off by thanking those of you, the council, and the community to show up, for our 2 grand openings, last week, down at Hiawatha Park and Freshwater Trail at the original Wallace Park, in which a, new, fish statue, what do we call that? Carving, sculpture was unveiled just to refresh everybody's memories. And then some of you may not know, the county had an initiative, excuse me, to try to take our communities that in the past have been rivals, St. Helens community, Houghton Lake community, and Roscommon Higgins Lake, and really work toward, economic teamwork. And so economic, vitality, through teamwork. And so one of the ways that they came up with doing that is this freshwater trail. You may have seen some logos from the County Economic Development Committee. And so each community may have 1 or 2 fish that represent their area. For example, the bluegill was the first unveiled in St. Helens. Then in Benton Township, in Sullivan Park, they unveiled the sunfish. Those 2 fish are one. And our brook trout unveiled last week at Bliss Park. It's a beautiful carving. I haven't had a chance to see it. The amazing job done by the artist. And so ours did not have a name until the Chamber of Commerce and the other members of the Freshwater Trail Committee got together and they came up with the name. You may have seen this on social media, but they came up with the name Quinn to represent Quinlan, the property that is now Hiawatha, that was owned for many, many years by the family. They ran a canoe livery there. And and, coincidentally, Quinn is also a somewhat Irish, derived, first name, and so worked out well. So thanks to those of you that were able to participate in the unveiling and the ribbon cutting, ceremony. The ceremony also took place on the same day as, Rocktoberfest, and I'll jump into Rocktoberfest, sure. So put my glasses on. So when we were there, one of the things that, Mr. Let's see, taking my back off. One of the things that, Mrs. Scow, Dan Scott, the organizer of, main organizer of Oktoberfest, one of the things that he goes around and tries to figure out, well, how many people did we have this year versus last year? I think anecdotally, most people that went and had been before could tell that we were, much higher in attendance this year than when we had in the past. There's many reasons for that. New bands, in particular, somewhat northern Michigan famous band, that, put on a great show. We had more music, we had more food trucks. We love the fact that we had a lot of our brick and mortar restaurants also, participate. We saw the beach was down there. We saw Nancy from the Bird and the Bear. We saw, Bob the Butcher, and others that were also having a chance to put their food up against the food trucks, which were amazing, in and amongst themselves. And so as we get back to trying to figure out how many people, we was thinking, it looks like maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000. Ms. Mangini thought, 2,500, and I think I saw she talked to a reporter and he had quoted 2,500. And these were all pretty much guesses. And you may or may not remember that our Cedar fellow Amanda has been communicating with a company, a new age tech company that takes cell phone data. That you don't even realize that you're being tracked here with your cell phone. They know you're here at this village council meeting. Everybody knows. The cell phone companies and carriers, they know we're here, and they sell that information to third parties. And so, who are some of the buyers? Well, business and municipalities and so forth. And so, Amanda was able to get at a really, really accurate number. So, this company predicts that we had about 1,900 people at unique guests, unique visitors over Oktoberfest, which we went back and we looked at the old data, which showed about 1,500 people. So we have an increase of about 400. However, if we look deeper into the numbers, we also saw that because they can do this, we had many, many more visitors that were not from Roscommon that came for this year's Oktoberfest. And our visitors that were local were down a little. I would argue, I saw a lot of people at the Oktoberfest this year that were not at prior Oktoberfest. So what we pretty much came up with was we separated Kidtoberfest this year over to the Wallace Park areas. So without the bump from locals going to the Kidtoberfest, which last year, if you remember, was on the grounds of the Oktoberfest. And so this year that was a little bit separate. So we lost a few locals, but because they were probably taking their families over to Kidtoberfest, but we gained many, many more visitors this time around. So very positive for the community. One thing that I'm going to just shot across the bow while we have members of the community here as well. Oktoberfest and Shamrock Drop were both events that came out of this office, came out of the village. They were not run by citizens. There's no citizen for what is that 501c3 charitable organization that was behind either one of them. So that probably something that a municipality and leadership could start and get going. Also something that probably would be better served as an organization that's outside the realm of the village. So Mrs. Gow is working toward turning Oktoberfest Shamrock Drop into a 501c3 organization. And they'll be looking for volunteers to serve on that committee. I know a number of you have volunteered and served on committees, and some of you are Christmas in the Village and many other committees as well. And so a lot of people at downtown sponsors are very, very generous, and we appreciate those sponsors. Specifically, and I hope I don't miss anybody, just to follow this official, volunteers Brian Ludwig, Kurt Kehoe, Mike Miller, Dwight Letterman, amongst many others that helped put them on as volunteers. So we appreciate that. The website continues to be a work in progress. I have been, I mentioned this last month, going in and trying to find places where there are some inconsistencies or old information. It's pretty vast, and so sometimes we have a link, we might have something that was uploaded a decade ago or 6 or 7 years ago and doesn't necessarily apply to now. I would appreciate if anybody does come across anything that looks like it's out of place or old information, please send me an email and I will try to address it as fast as I possibly. I want to give a CEDOM update. CEDOM is the organization that brought us Amanda Chinsky, our Stephen Fellow. And so far, she is a little over halfway through her 15-month fellowship. As far as accomplishing the goals that we had set out for her, that was done almost in the first 3 months. So finding other things for her to work on was not something I had to do. She found those things, and she has taken it upon herself to do things that benefit this village, benefit county. She joined the Roscommon County Economic Development Committee. She has joined the County Brownfield Board. She is, of course, those of you that know her, part of many boards and organizations in our local community as well. So I want to give her an unqualified A+. 17. Okay. Grants. This week, and I don't know how much I want to give you, but we just found out that the village has received a $400,000 housing grant that will go to the Troy Hull project, duplex projects, which are out on Main Street. I believe one duplex is already built, but if you get a chance to drive down Main Street all the way towards the fairgrounds area, there'll be 2 more of those going up. And being able to get this grant means a lot because of some of the people that he's going to be able to house in those duplexes. A number of them are new to our community. They're members of the Lions Den, and if we've ever worked with those folks, amazing organization, and being able to house up to them, it's really awesome. This is homecoming week at Roscommon High School, and we're starting to see some decorations and things going on downtown. More about Roscommon schools, the volleyball team. If you don't already know, have heard they're ranked #1 in the state. I believe are now 40 wins and 2 losses. And this past weekend, they went down to a 36-team Class A volleyball tournament and came out of there 4-1. So great job. Great job. Also, the musical department at Roscommon High School is doing the musical this year's Newsies. So if that's something that floats your boat, make sure we support the musical department as well. Wednesday this week, because the Chamber of Commerce moved Girls' Night Out to November, not without a little bit of controversy, because a good number of people in our community liked a mid-October shopping night with the girls and so forth, and guys. But so a number of the shop owners have taken it upon themselves to create a night out, a fall night out. And it's not necessarily sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, but that's one thing that's all.
4 to 8.
4 to 8, thank you, Joanne.
Any questions for Jim on anything? Good, thank you, Jim. Next is Anna, the new conference, Amanda.
So, it's about last month, we went to the email conference. And we were one of the 4 finalists for the Community Excellence Award. That was a great experience. We did not win, but we gave it our all and got Roscommon on the map and talked with state leaders across Michigan. And we made quite a lot of connections. We also were able to support Michigan Audubon, who runs the Bird City program that we're a part of. They came out. We helped them get a lot of leads. They've been continuing to support and promote us. They just had another press release that they mentioned us in just this week. And they are also going to support some of our local businesses with like a holiday gift guide that they're putting out. So they're going to get some of our businesses listed in there. So that partnership continues to strengthen. We also debuted our partnership with Portland Community College, a renewed partnership with them. They came with Sparky in tow, their mascot, and helps us drum up attention and discussions with local leaders at our table that we had there. So that was good. Another thing that came out of it is we believe that DTE rep, they have a program that they do with Relief, it's called, where they offer free trees to communities as well as free arborist that comes and consults with you. They do tree education the day of the event. This is something that we're hoping to find out for sure in January. We're in early, he thinks, and usually is a strong advocate and he likes our project. We'll find out officially in January, but if we get that, we'd like to do it with the spring cleanup that we have with the Rotary Club and add kind of a section of folks who maybe want to help plant trees if we can. So again, the only thing that costs is volunteer hours. That's the match there. But otherwise you get getting free trees out of that too. So that was good. Then following on to that too, with the Rural Readiness Grant organizer, who's the Office of Rural Prosperity, they've been putting on free conferences all year. And so I've attended quite a few of those, as well as participate in their Rural Readiness Network that they have, which has leaders across the state that get together and we talk about different topics and compare notes on, what are different people doing on different topics. That's been really valuable just to get to know other folks and get to know kind of what other communities are doing. We hosted Lisa Miller, who's their director of partnerships here in the village, 6 weeks ago, something like that, a month ago. She was so impressed with everything that we've got going on in our small 1,000-person village that she invited us out to speak both at there's a thumb, they do these regional conferences now as well. So in the thumb on this Friday, we're going to speak and just share kind of the story of Roscommon, how we started with infrastructure and all the grants that have been and programs that we've taken advantage of over the last 7-8 years here, and how we've been able to get to public art and other things as well, housing now in the village. So yeah, that's going to be we're community spotlight for that conference. So that's a pretty cool honor that we got. And then the other one, the Rural Readiness Network, they also do an annual convening. And so that's going to be in Petoskey this year. And so in November, we're going to that as well. And are again going to be a community spotlight feature for that event. And just talking about progress of the village and how much has been going on here and just really the community. So thank you to you all for making that story possible. We can get it going, share with everybody. It's pretty great. We want to do things like that. The next thing that I wanted to share is here, but make it in public art. We had our meeting last week, and we had a survey that went out. We got about 20 people that engaged in that for us. And or is that later? Sorry, am I speaking here? Okay. And so what we heard from folks, there's a lot of good discussion around, just reflecting on kind of what have we done this year, what do we want to, where do we want to go from here, I think is the big question. And so the top 3 rated initiatives that people had for 2026 were, continue music in the village. Now that's pretty like broad, but I assume includes things, like Oktoberfest that we have going on, that we have like the downtown music, and there's other musical things. So as we get into next year, we'll kind of get back with the community and figure out exactly what musical things, if there's anything above and beyond that we want to do. Or just continue to make sure that we're hosting music in the village, because that was our top rated initiative. We also had painted streets or painted crosswalks. That's something that we've been seeing more and more at these conferences actually that people are doing. Another Sedum Fellow that's in Saginaw, they have a beautiful painted street. If you've ever been there, or if you haven't been recently, go check it out. It's really, really gorgeous. But that was another top rated initiative that we had. And so we're looking into how we might be able to do that and where we might be able to do that. We did have a grant that came up actually right after that. That's from Project for Public Spaces. And no match or anything on that, but it's a consultative process where they bring in, basically, you don't have anything planned per se, so you don't need to be like a shovel ready project, but so we can apply for it. And we did for like on Brook Street where Rocktoberfest is shut down, and the River Center. And so what we submitted on for that was the painted streets concept, and also like looking at that like a bike hub, as well as like the the snowmobiles and stuff come through there on the backside. So just looking at it from a mobility standpoint is what that grant likes to look at. So that's $100,000 that they would put towards consultation, and we have community engagement in spring. And we got this again, it's just an application at this point. And then look at like mobility in and out of that area, and how we can improve that. So that's something maybe on the horizon, but it's a multi-state competitive grant, so never know. But things like that, we're just like trying to think about what we could do there. And then third was a downtown mural was also rated as a top question to do another. So we'll be speaking with the hearing about the grant program. That's all.
Any questions for Amanda?
When you say painted street, you mean the actual painting the whole street?
Yeah, painting on the street. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's some kind of cool stuff. Look at the second one, it's pretty cool. And then the other one we saw was like crosswalks that are like, instead of being a full crosswalk, they had it where it was kind of cool where they had it painted like on the corners. So that it's something that catches your eye as you're going. So like it like encourages people to slow down, because like what is that when you kind of don't race through it?
You're right. What part of Saginaw is that,
It's all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna. So you know, yeah, it's
I go to the libraries down there, that's why I was.
yeah.
So you say,
Yeah.
big deal.
No, but it'd be cool to check out. It's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Redstone Housing Project, Mr. Hall.
Just give a little update on that. We are now in a weekly meetings with them. We meet every Wednesday at 2:00, just for briefing and updates and such. The Redstone developers will be presenting to our planning commission on Monday. Nothing will be voted on, they're just presenting it. The planning commission will take those plans and they will probably take a month or two to go through and look for errors or glitches or things, so they have a fuller understanding of that. And then if they approve it, then it'll come to the village council for your blessing. But again, that's
What time is that meeting?
5:30 Monday right here. Then and again, they're to present what they have, and you worked out some more details that we've asked them about, and just give you an update as well. So,
Any more questions for Mr. Alden on the Redstone project? Okay, next item is the 2026 capital improvement plan resolution.
you guys know every year we have to end your traffic capital improvement plan. And I will say between the USDA project and some of their projects we've had, we've taken a lot of the projects and down in the past and have there's still some more areas we have to work on. I gave you a copy of this, capital plan last month. I sat down with the DPW. They made up a wish list, if you will, and then we're trying to kind of put some numbers to it, move it around again, and stuff like this. So what I sent you, in the, agenda packet was our final draft at this time. And this is a 2026 capital improvement plan for this new annual third January first. So our third resolution will stay in effect for the remainder of the year. We're just working a little bit like a parent team plan for next year.
I'm making the motion to approve the 2026 capital improvement plan. Can I get a second on that? please? Got a first and second, any discussion? If not. Roll call please.
Woodward.
Yeah.
Miller. Ready.
Yeah.
Neutral.
Yeah.
Spackle. Yeah. Edward. Yes.
Inside of you, Becker. It's moving like 49. Next.
Listen.
Like, Southwood.
Hello. I guess the reason that we're on the agenda is we had sent out, business letters to almost all the businesses asking for help with donations to bring Christmas in the village. Every year, the expenses, of course, are going up and up. And it's getting, first, last year, I don't remember if you remember the post office problem that we had, or mail went missing. Well, our donations were like cut in half because most of the businesses, we didn't get the letters. And so, yeah, because a lot of them that we still need to, you know, and I'm sorry, but we didn't take the time to call each individual business, which I probably should have, but you know, at that time, we didn't really know about the mail. But, so we're asking the village and then would help. With the purchase. I mean, we're looking at, like, the garland, we're putting up garland now on all 80 poles. So we got garland and like, got those purchased, that'll be put up, that's new this year. We're having, kids, what are we calling that, the games in town?
The family,
Family fun,
yeah.
we're having games
fun
in the
games.
whole, like,
We will have Yardley, large tic-tac-toe, and then a couple of miscellaneous ones, depending on whether or not we have snow, or if it's going to be a little bit more of a wet. They both just.
we might hit the heart on the branch, you know, something like that, just something to keep the kids active during the day in the street, well, relax, but. And we're just asking for help, we have to get a vendor storage unit because of purchasing of the garland. That's not easy to store. And the cost of the storage unit is $2,800. And that, we took a hit on that. So, and like, I just, for a general idea, the horse and carriage rides, both are $2,000. The reindeer, $1,300 for 4 hours. You know, the stuff that we don't want to cut out. If we can get the support of the community to, our main fundraisers are tickets, our raffle tickets, and our passes. And everything else we pretty much do on donation. So that's what we're just asking, if we can have some help with putting this on this year. Well, every year.
Dick could add, this Christmas in the Village team, they meet every month year round, because they're from 1C3, and that's part of all of that. But they're the ones that decorate and set up for the Roscommon house. They're the ones that are there the next morning, taking it all down. They're the ones that are gonna go out to our community and put them on full. They do so much more this Christmas in the village. When I was going through last year's budget items and such, and I'm not sure just how at this point, but some of the monies that we give out for different events and stuff, like this, like sponsored. I looked at it in the village council, gave Crystal to the village $100. And I could have swore we gave more than that, but I was shocked and very so I was like. Like really. We're just talking about, I'm like, looking at the light bulb. If you remember a couple years back, these fires that company brought in the big ornaments and they put them on the lights and some worked and some didn't work. And
$2,500.
yeah, and that was very expensive. So last year for just whatever we're gonna do that, we went out and nothing. We had to rush back and we go and race and move water, whatever, and I mean, one. So then we're gonna go back and get what's on our lit poles now and then we do that for the next few years. But I can't see enough about all the volunteer hours that this thing, like we would be lost without.
Well, that, not to mention here on the south.
One thing we have in the like for donation, I think we have enough to do a sizable donation or like $3,500 donation.
We could sweep it out, yep.
That would be, is that from one or the
Yes, yeah, that much fun.
35? I'll go along with that, I just don't know how much we got, so that's why I asked that, because I'll assume. Motion to $3,500 for the stability committee for the amount of 35 for the reindeer and the horse. Okay. Thank you. I'll second that. Yeah, for a second, any more discussion?
If the chair would allow me to interject, the company that Amanda talks to tracks all of our cell phone needs. Top two events that bring people to Roscommon. Not surprisingly, the 4th of July.
So I have a first and second, any more discussion? If not, roll call please.
Marty? Yes. Edward? Yeah. Richard?
Yeah.
Lovely?
Yeah.
Miller?
Yeah.
Roscommon? Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great job, board.
Pretty quick.
Okay, number 8, discussion item. Does it have any?
I guess I can bring this up as a discussion item. I went out to Don and Laurel Doherty's this week. Which of you might know, or many of you know, I'm very much opposed to storage building. And so is the rest of the county. Roscommon Township put a moratorium against them. I think Markey Township has. Well, I went out to Don and Laurel Doherty's. They've been here. I've been here 50 years and never here when I moved here. Don used to work at the bank across the street. Don was doing some work on my bicycle house for me, so I took the bike out there. I drove back. They live out what's known as Sherman Lane. And I went, Laurel, she was out in the yard. I said, look at those 3 giant buildings, and they're storage buildings, and they're in South Rancho, and it's one couple, I think, downstate. And she said the one building they have a motorhome in there, and that's where they live when they're up here. But then she said, check out down at Steve Schultz's old house. That's at the corner of it's Main Street and North Central Drive, where you turn down Sherman Lane. There's a big building going up there, and so we don't have any jurisdiction out there. But I think we need to get together with Higgins Township and get something to stop. I mean, they're wrecking our surrounding garden bar. They look awful. They have nothing. Why would somebody need 3 giant storage buildings? And they're not running them out there. That's for their own stuff. But they're everywhere. You just look around and they're going to keep on going up. People have found a way to sidestep the law. We have zoning laws, but we need to readjust our zoning. We need to come up with something, because if somebody came into the industrial park, for instance, that would be the end of our available space there, really. So I'm just bringing it up. If you think we need to put it on the agenda or something, I'm going to go talk to these townships. I'm gonna say, what are you guys doing? What are you thinking? You know? Okay, that's my discussion item. Nobody have anything to say about it, or what do you think?
I hadn't seen those actually, but I've seen all the ones at Garrett, like go down on the shelf.
Sure, these are like giant mark. You know, if you go out, I mean, on a personal property, so I don't know, I mean, because I had some, I haven't really got a whole lot to pick to. Well, you could if they changed their zoning and didn't allow, you know, a building bigger than the house, for instance, or much, yeah, there should be dimension. They could have some kind of zoning regulations. This is that tangle. You turn on Chevrolet, you go down and see turn on tangle, and that's where they're at. I mean, that's just three that I know of. I mean, there could be more. I don't know.
Have you checked Hagen Township, like zoning, and see if?
That's not Higgins. That's
South Bend.
That's Southbank, probably you're talking about Higgins.
yeah.
Check Hagen, let's see if they have any zoning.
Yeah, it's good, but you know, this just took me by.
No, we have, there's, no, it's silly.
It's right. Well, they're just not. What I'm saying, you are.
Unwise.
Yeah, well, they're not doing township. You know, they just come from South Bend Township. Oh, yeah, they're affecting us and I'm going to go talk to them and say, hey, what can you do about it? Because it's affecting everyone. You know, people are finding ways to sidestep the law, you know, to they
Well, I don't know, side, you get it.
it's in it, yes, but it's still it's sidestepping something. And then I saw somebody on the internet the other day looking for a storage barn. He said there's a shortage of them. Well, I got
Well, most ones in the county,
yeah.
they're all, that's nothing to say back about. I think it comes to, and down hard to say that I thought we made a recommendation not to put storage units in there at once.
Maybe
Nowadays, I know, I can tell you that, so I thought we did something in that a couple years ago.
And what about the M18 property? What's going to happen there? Is
I don't think we have anything storage related in there.
well, not yet, but well, I mean, we're still at the first phase. We don't have anything on first phase, so we're I'm just bringing it up. It's we got to find and get it all before we're done trying to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I know they talked about with the duplexes and stuff like that and providing for the commercial stuff there, but that's all they said. There was not storage, that was done.
So we're looking for one thing, but well, after the property is sold, you don't know what they're going to do. That's what I'm like.
It's a good time to look.
Yeah, we need to get that in there. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some buildings in your village that are being used for storage or which work, you know,
You can wonder if they can tell. Right, I mean, right next.
Right inside the village limits. Yeah, it's been there for a long time. I had cars. Okay, well, I'm sorry to be so.
No, that was a good, like, yeah, I'm good time, it's not.
Remember, they're going into the planning commission with their.
And another thing is, as people pass away, you know, they've got property that they've kept, and then all of a sudden their kids get it, or somebody up there it's sold, and then these people come along and they want to put in storage. You know, they want to do something with it that's not exactly conducive to our environment. That's how things change.
Change, I mean, it's gonna happen.
And then that's why you need regulations.
Okay. Any more discussion items? If not public now, I've got 2 minutes per speaker. Anybody? Someone got, this is more. I know you guys all know.
Anyway. Oh. Different things to update you guys on from the county. Obviously, it's still budget time for us. Like I said in my last meeting, we have 4 union contracts that will definitely impact this budget season. Benefits is another issue that we're trying to relook at. They were not, there was a shift last year prior to me that this doesn't seem to be fitting for our county. Not sure what we can do at this point, but trying to investigate what are some options for county employees. When the state budget finally got passed, county revenue sharing was still in the budget. I do know that the townships which received
revenue sharing was cut. So that's gonna impact our townships, but from a county perspective, that part of it remained. So they're still looking through some of the mandated services that we provide in our courts, things like that, friends of the court and those. What they will get may not be the same, so that's gonna come out of general funds. Also, there's still some things that we need to work through with the new state budget and any federal stuff that comes through us. So. One of the big issues that we're facing, and we went to the MAC conference, Chair Sensor and I did for 3 days, and one of the biggest topics there is really around mental health. And what are some counties doing and what are they working on? The state wants to rebid what they call the prepaid inpatient health plans for mental health services. So the Department of Health and Human Services decided that they want to shrink. We have 10 existing regions. They want to shrink it to 3. And by doing so, they put out a bid so that other groups can partner with organizations like our Blue Cross and Aetna and all that group to take over how we handle our mental health services in our state. So it really remove a lot of our local control over how we do that. There's a lawsuit going on. There's a lot of pushback on this. We're not sure where that's going to end. We're hoping that there might be some sort of the Court of Claims Judge Yates supposed to be ruling on that pretty soon. It did not want to make something temporary, but more of an indefinite, so that things can move forward and stop. So that was a huge topic at this conference as well. There's a lot around what they call CIT programs. There are the crisis intervention teams that are set up. So as I mentioned before, we're trying to work around our opioid wraparound money that we get from the federal government. How do we put that together? We're going to have a presentation from a group that's been doing this in several states for a while. Now, granted, it's mental health, but it's allowed to be used because the opioid money has to have something to do with the mental health part of it as well. So there is a correlation. They're going to come and do a presentation for us as commissioners because they save like over $1 million a year with these programs, with less hospitalization takes, less putting people in jail, and putting the right people at that time. And maybe it's just a mental crisis and it's not necessarily a law-breaking situation. There's a difference there, apparently. It's a great presentation. We're going to have them come forward and kind of give us some more ideas of how they've done that. So I think that'd be good. Last but not least, obviously there's lake level issues that are always on our table, but we did apply for a minor permit with Eagle to adjust some aluminum pieces on the gates and Higgins, so that can hopefully help with some of the loss that comes due to the wave action. So we're hoping that we'll get that agreed upon. The advisory committee applications have gone out to people who should be able to be in the special assessment district area. And then there will be representations from the foundation, from the Land Conservancy, as well as HOPOA. So this advisory committee will be put together and will start to work probably in November, because there's a water survey that has to be done. So that will give them information on what type of structure do we need to look at based upon that water study. So they will start to probably kick in November. But those applications have already gone out. Just for clarity, because I know that I am your person in this area, that the 2 people on our board that are truly lake level subcommittees, that is our chair censor, and that is Commissioner Wilson. Those 2 were selected for that last year because they were the only 2 people who had nothing to gain or lose from overseeing that. So they will continue to oversee this advisory committee as well as our lake level manager. I will be the person to funnel some questions and come back to you guys with information, but they will really be the ones who are trying to own that. They bring those recommendations back to us as a full board. So I don't know if I did that in 2 minutes. Good question.
I never get a chance to talk to you at the meeting because you're so busy. But anyway, I was trying to tell you last month, thank you very much for coming to these meetings. I mean, all the years I've been at the there's been no county commissioner. I mean, they may have come once in a while, usually to ask for votes, but you're actually bringing things here on board. So thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome. May I just add one more nice comment? Help me to hear the information about what happened in Oktoberfest. Did we have one person who's not happy with what we do as commissioners of Lake Level and said, well, look, there was a lot of out of town people. I made that, I said that in my board report. They came up to me after the meeting and said, they only come here because of the lake. Oh my goodness. It was their take, but I'm glad that you backed me up on some numbers that said, no, we had a lot of people from different counties and different places come for that event. So anyway, that's just a little unsolicited. Thank you.
One more. Yeah, it's left.
So I thank you to council for giving contribution to the Christmas in the village. That's huge in our community. And thank you all for the Oktoberfest, Jim, Ron, Mike, everybody involved in that. It was a big turnout this year, and it was very successful. So, yeah, thank everybody. Yep.
Any more public? If not, we'll move on to council comment.
I just want to thank everybody for everything. Man, thank you for your halfway through. I know. It's great. Thank you all for coming. Come back.
Maureen?
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, first. So good to see everybody come to these meetings and get involved. I'm just excited about all the good projects going through the village.
Mr. Official. Okay, the Oktoberfest. I mentioned Kurt. Well, I forgot to, when I was standing there talking to Kurt, some guy was leaving with a can of beer. And Kurt said, sir, he was very polite. He said, you can't take that out of here. It was at the end of the evening. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. And the guy took a couple of swigs and quit and turned and left. And what I noticed was, I didn't see any rowdyism. I mean, this was a well under control event. And so, one thing I noticed, I only hit their phone down. They said, unless they were recording it, they had to, nobody was using their phone, like, they were interested. But I did see, I was riding my bike around town, there were cars everywhere. Now, another relation to that, my hometown in Pennsylvania was settled in 1735. It was Dill's town, and it was settled by a man from Ireland, just like Roscommon has an Irish name. And they have a harvest festival, and it was either this past weekend or it's this coming weekend. There's a parade and thousands of people in that, and the town's only 2,500. But they have concession stands and the school kids. We did that when I was in high school back in the 50s. They set up, they sold kielbasa dogs or chicken corn soup, things that you don't even see. But we use that money for our senior trips or whatever. And they also have a pickle drop, whereas Jim here started the salmon drop. They have a pickle drop on New Year's. And the funny thing is, they don't raise dill pickles there. I mean, some people might in their garden, but they're known for the first settler's name was Matthew Dill. He was from Monaghan, Ireland. And that's where the name, it was Dill's town until the Germans came in, and then they put a bird through the end of the name. So anyway, well, I guess that's about all. I have one more thing, if I can take up your time. They started a newspaper down in Missouri in 1969 when I graduated from the University of Missouri, and it was in a little town of Ashland. Well, I survived there for 5 years, but the paper has survived now. It's been 56 years, and the present owner just sold it to the University of Missouri School of Journalism. So I'm very happy about that. The paper has survived, and they're not even good for teaching. Because they got all those journalism students, and it's on KOMU TV. I just saw the TV broadcast about it, and it's they're going to use it for teaching, and they've got all those students, so it's free. I mean, it won't falter. That's the oldest journalism school in the world. It was started in 1908. So, okay, that's enough. It's special.
I don't have anything tonight.
Mr. Ludwig.
Just want to say that I'm not going to be here for the next meeting, and what happened with the budget meeting on Monday. But we do that, which again,
thanking the group that put together the Roscommon fence and everything in the village. And, thank you for the information for the town. I do read all that and, take a look at it and make sure I know what's going on. So, all right, well then.
I wanna say, thanks to the Oktoberfest with the dedication, with the dedication of the fish and high loss of Mueller, with a great turnout for everybody. Mr. Snuffle, you guys are doing great, I'm not Mr. Chanel, you were doing a great job at DPW, right there, came on by for some reason. Tell them congratulations, they're doing a great job. Also, thank the citizens coming out to our meetings, without you guys, we can't do anything we do. Also, one last note for me. Thursday night, there's a pink out for the volleyball game for a little 8th grade girl named Macy. She's got thyroid cancer, she's going through, so we're gonna have a pink out. Come on out and support Macy. I think we should do it, community, we always do, let's do it again.
Very cool.
That's, I think it's at the middle school, I have to be in there. 6 o'clock, I believe they start that one.
Might be 5.
5:30.
5?
And I think it start. So earlier, 8.
And he's playing that basketball. We're selling shirts at the door, $15 people. You buy them at school. So yeah, come on for Macy. Items for next agenda.
Just let you know, it doesn't seem possible, but we're looking at November, so there'll be a public hearing for your budget and after our work session, we'll have a final draft for you to look at, next, meeting. That's also the meeting we have to discuss council pay for the following year. Go over 2 or 3 of the items that we have so far.
Any, next agenda?
From nothing in the last town. Oh, Jeff. The difference time gonna be on the.
As of right now, that's gonna be at the planning commission.
Okay, well, I just thought. Really got me on here.
I don't think the planning commission is gonna be done in 3 weeks. With a project of this big, looking at all the details.
Okay, if there's no more, I'm looking for motion to adjourn. We have the motion to adjourn. You got a first, can I get a second? All in favor? Say aye. Thank you, everybody, for the joint council meeting.
Look out.
Yes.
That should be more.